Tonight, asking for answers, Montana's congressional delegation seeks an explanation as to why mailboxes are being removed. Plus, differing accounts on the whereabouts of a grizzly that nearly took the life of a Teton County man. And later, a different feel, but nonetheless, today was the first day of high school football practice. We'll have player reaction.
From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Thanks for making MTN your choice for news tonight. I'm Tim McGonigal. Montana's congressional delegation is continuing to raise questions about actions by the U.S. Postal Service under President Trump's newly appointed Postmaster General. And also today, the Postal Service announced it's putting on hold plans to remove nearly 70 mail drop boxes in Montana. All three members of Montana's delegation now have written letters to Postmaster General Louis DeJoy asking for explanations on why blue mail drop boxes were being removed from Montana cities. The Postal Service says those plans have now been put on hold, although they've also said removal of some boxes is routine. Senators Jon Tester and Steve Daines and Representative Greg Gianforte also have told DeJoy he should halt actions that are delaying U.S. mail service. Daines and Tester say they support additional Postal Service funding in the next COVID-19 relief bill that comes out of Congress. MTN News also asked Senator Daines whether he's concerned about remarks by President Trump against mail voting and whether it could be undermined by actions that delay the mail. Neither he nor Representative Gianforte, both Republicans, addressed that issue directly.
I've sent a letter to the Postmaster General very strongly asking questions about what's going on with the delayed service. Bottom line is to make sure that Montanans are receiving reliable mail service. This is a big deal, particularly for rural parts of our state.
Montana counties are in the midst of deciding whether to go to a mostly all-mail ballot for the November 3rd general election. Well, back in late July, we told you how one Teton County man survived an encounter with a grizzly bear. But as MTN's Tom Wiley explains, his fight to keep his family safe was far from over.
It's been 3 weeks since Shannon Rammel was attacked by a bear just outside of this barn near his property, and his physical wounds are starting to heal.
It's going pretty good. This hand, I'm starting to feel my fingers in there and moving.
But the emotional wounds are still fresh for Rammel and his family.
It's just a lot of fear. My daughter, she's scared to death. She won't come out of the house. It's just hard on all of us.
The grizzly bear that attacked Shannon has still not been located after weeks of searching.
For 12 days, we did ground searches. We did 3 aerial searches. We did a fixed wing, we did a helicopter, and we did another helicopter. We also put up a drone.
Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks believe the bear left the area following the attack and has not returned.
But with the equipment and manpower we put out there, if we didn't find it, it left the area.
But Rammel is not so sure.
And we've got tracks of the grizzly right next to the ponds, and my neighbors have got pictures.
One of his neighbors snapped this photo last week, and when Rammel took us to a nearby watering hole to show us fresh tracks, members of the nearby New Rockport colony stopped to show us a picture they'd taken just days earlier. FWP claims the bear photographed is likely a research bear.
We found bears 5, 6, 7 miles away. One was a collared bear, so we knew it wasn't that one.
But Rammel claims none of the witnesses ever saw a collar.
My neighbors and everybody else is, like I said, them other people seen the bear too, and it doesn't have a collar on it.
Then just last week, Rammel's 11-year-old daughter claims she encountered the bear again on their property.
I was gonna go under the crane and grab my mom's baby goats when I heard his growl.
Growl, what did it sound like?
Sounded the growl when Dad got attacked by the grizzly bear.
When the family investigated, they found the door ripped off of their chicken coop and what appeared to be scratch marks. But when FWP arrived, they said there was no evidence of a bear.
Now, Fish and Game can say this bear is not here. He's here. This is his whole territory.
A bear that has an encounter with a human like this, grizzly bears, 99% of the time, they take off and they're looking for a place to go, and they're not sticking around.
Last week, several live traps were removed, and FWP installed an electric fence around the Rammel's property, but that hasn't made the family feel much safer.
I've had fence with cows, and they used to get out all the time, so I really don't have faith in their fence out here. I mean, I have a 3-year-old. They say it shocks really hard.
Ultimately, the Rammel family wants closure, and they're not sure they'll get it until the bear that attacked Shannon is captured and killed.
I was really disappointed that our nightmares never ended, and they're ongoing. Ever since this attack, I've been promised that this bear was going to get killed, because it attacked a human being, and that's been not the case at all.
Tom Wiley, MTN News.
Rammel runs a firewood business that sells to vendors around the state. He hasn't been able to work while recovering from his injuries. Friends have set up a GoFundMe account to ease the financial burden. You can find a link to that story on our website. Montana Fish, Wildlife and Parks say it may begin reintroduction of bighorn sheep to the Little Belt Mountains as soon as this winter. The Fish and Wildlife Commission unanimously approved the effort at this week's commission meeting. Bighorn sheep had historically lived in the mountains until their population was decimated in the early 1900s. The reintroduction plans will work to establish separate herds of around 100 sheep at a time, with the goal of some level of connectivity forming between the herds in the mountain range. The commission praised the plan and the department's efforts in re-establishing historic herds in the state.
To me, it's exciting. That's something that dates back quite a number of years, where we've told the department we would like to see areas relocated versus going out of state, and they are fulfilling that.
In 1962, FWP transplanted 18 bighorn sheep into the Sheep Creek area of the Little Belts. However, that restoration attempt ultimately failed. The Black Butte Copper Project outside White Sulphur Springs has been approved to start construction. On Friday, the Montana Department of Environmental Quality issued its final hard rock mining operating permit to Tintina, Montana. The mining project is now able to proceed with Phase 1 development construction, such as building and improving roads and other facility construction. Vice President of Communication, Nancy Schlepp, said this has been a decade's worth of work for some people, and the company is excited to finally begin.
This is a really exciting day for our project. This is the final green light so that we can start construction. And we've been waiting for a long time. The surety bond is set, all of the equipment's on site, and everybody's ready to go to work Monday morning.
Now at this time, Phase 1 is the only approved work Tintina can conduct without further action by DEQ. The mining company is currently working with DEQ and the Montana DNRC to begin mining activities in the coming year. Well, the weekend is here, and it looks like warmer temperatures are coming along with it. Here's Elizabeth Copeland with our first forecast.
Well, the sun is set now across most of north central Montana, or is setting, and temperatures are going to drop. Skies are going to stay clear overnight, which is why temperatures are going to start plummeting back down to the 50s tonight for north central northeast Montana. So another chilly start to your Saturday. But there's going to be a big difference. Today felt like fall out there across the capital city. Tomorrow going to feel quite a bit warmer as we start our warming trend. That warmer air from the southwest going to start flowing into our area. And right now temperatures are holding steady in the 70s. This time tomorrow we'll still be in the 80s most likely, as that warm air still tracks in for Saturday and especially on Sunday. So for your fishing forecast, tomorrow is going to be the best day to get outside and go fishing. You might be seeking more of the water for swimming on Sunday as temperatures skyrocket to the 90s. Tomorrow afternoon, though, will hold steady in the mid to upper 80s. Right around 4 or 5 p.m. is going to be the warmest part of the day. But again, we're tracking those 90s returning to the forecast for Sunday, and we'll tell you when the hottest day of the week we expect for the next 7 days will be coming up here shortly.
Well, the state of Montana is reporting 134 new coronavirus cases since yesterday. The second Missoula County resident to pass away from COVID-19 brings the statewide death toll to 82. There are 67 active cases in Cascade County, Phillips County, now with 64, and 58 in Lewis and Clark County. The state has administered just under 200,000 tests, and as of tonight, 86 people remain hospitalized. The reopening plan for the Great Falls Public School District was approved earlier this week. Although it's subject to some change, some teachers and parents are optimistic. Students will have the option for either in-person or remote learning, but teachers will be able to focus on one or the other. Teachers and district board members agreed that this plan must be fluid and will more than likely have to be adjusted throughout the school year. In fact, there's already one change coming. The plan says that masks will be required in most settings and may be required for fans at extracurricular activities. Back on August 12th, Governor Bullock announced that face coverings will be mandatory in all K-12 schools in counties with 4 or more active cases of COVID-19.
We're making history as we speak, and God forbid this ever happens down the road again, we'll know better how to handle it based on what we've done this time. And so, I've heard some of the other plans for other school districts, and I am truly personally happy that our district has chosen the plan that they've chosen versus some of the others.
Rachel said that she understands some families might not be comfortable sending their kids back to school yet, but they're excited to be able to see their students in person again. Meanwhile, after years of waiting, East Helena is about to open its own high school building. Work started on the building in the spring of 2019, but last year's first freshman class had their classes at East Valley Middle School while the construction continued. The new school is based on classroom pods with shared spaces for projects. When school starts, 9th and 10th graders will move into the high school building. Leaders expect about 250 students in a building designed to hold about 650.
We've got much higher capacity than we actually have students in the building, so we can spread out. We've got a lot of space in the hallways and the common areas for the number of students that we have.
Rispin says they are currently looking at beginning the year with block scheduling to limit the students' risk of exposure to COVID-19. Classes are scheduled to begin on August 26th. While many business owners have been walking on pins and needles, awaiting the pandemic's next financial hardship, textile shop owners have been using those pins and needles to their advantage. Across the country, we've seen a surge in sewing, and here in Great Falls, the pandemic has also been marked by a rising interest in the pastime. One Great Falls textile store owner, Deborah Royce, said this summer's rise in business, in particular, is due to customers' desire to make masks and a difference.
Usually summertime it really slacks down because people are out doing their camping and their boating and all that stuff. And I think they are doing that too, but they're also wanting to make a difference. So they're sewing.
Royce added that in light of sewing's growing popularity, the store is having trouble keeping sewing machines in stock. She has begun pre-ordering to accommodate the need and appreciates customers being understanding. The two candidates to become Helena's next city manager have arrived for their final interviews. This morning, Rachel Harlow-Schock and Troy Smith joined city department heads for a tour of the capital city. They then met with city staff and community panels. Tomorrow, they'll have interviews with Helena City Commissioners who will make the decision on which candidate to pursue a contract with. The public can watch those interviews online through Zoom. Harlow-Schock is the state of Colorado's Deputy Director of Local Government. Smith is the Deputy City Manager for Commerce City, Colorado. A third finalist dropped out of the hiring process this week. The major wildfires are burning on the West Coast. An update from California is coming up next.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Welcome back. The Bear Creek fire in the Lemhi Pass area in southwestern Montana is causing some closures. Officials with the Beaverhead Deer Lodge National Forest are concerned about public safety. The fire was started by lightning on Tuesday of this week. Fire officials were doing some back burning today. The latest news shows it's holding at 4,200 acres, but still at 0% containment. A heat wave in Southern California is complicating firefighting efforts near Los Angeles. Crews are battling at least 3 wildfires and triple-digit temperatures. Nichelle Medina has the latest from Los Angeles.
More than 1,000 firefighters are working around the clock battling 3 wildfires across Los Angeles. The ranch fire in Azusa, about 20 miles northeast of LA, has scorched about 4 square miles. Before the wind shifted, fast-moving flames threatened at least 300 homes.
I didn't sleep really well. I kept waking up and going and checking on the window.
A federal incident management team will help crews with more air support and elite hotshot crews to scale steep terrain. The lake fire has been burning since Wednesday afternoon north of Los Angeles near the town of Lake Hughes. Lou Royce stayed at his ostrich ranch to protect his flock.
There's no way to evacuate these things and to try to handle them. If you're not an experienced wrangler, you're looking for trouble.
Royce says the fire came close to his operation.
This is my 4th little go-around with this, and it scared this cowboy a time or two.
While crews kept the fire away from Royce's ranch, others weren't as fortunate. The fire destroyed several structures and burned more than 17 square miles of land. Another fire in the Los Angeles suburb of Corona started Thursday, briefly forcing evacuations. It's now more than 50% contained. Excessive heat watches and warnings are in effect in Southern California, with temperatures expected to hit triple digits through the weekend.
I'm just praying for the firefighters that they stay healthy and hydrated, especially with COVID.
The cause of all three fires remains under investigation. Nichelle Medina, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Skies stay clear on Saturday, but temperatures take a big warming trend through the end of the weekend. We talk temperatures returning to the 90s coming up next.
Storm Tracker weather starts now with Chief Meteorologist Elizabeth Copeland.
Good Friday evening to you. Thanks for letting me fill in once again for North Central Northeast Montana. Well, this time tomorrow is going to be a little different. We're still seeing the blue skies out there right now. Besides this small little cloud layer, these are upper level clouds now just pushing through Cut Bank and Havre and the High Line. Again, not producing any rain. We're going to stay dry. But besides those, we're seeing a lot of blue skies. Tomorrow is going to be different because warmer temperatures are going to start moving in. So while we stay dry and cool tonight, enjoy your evening walk. If you've got to walk the dog later tonight, it's going to be a cooler one. And this time tomorrow is going to be quite a bit warmer as we start to skyrocket back into the upper 90s by the end of the weekend. So dry skies right now, temperatures holding steady, mostly in the upper 70s across Helena and the mid 70s across the rest of the High Line. 72 right now in Lewistown, 78 in Glasgow. So it's a pretty nice night out there, especially as that sun sets. We'll drop a couple degrees, especially overnight, because those clouds are going to stay out of the forecast again for the most part. So a beautiful sunset captured in Great Falls just a while ago, where we're at 73 degrees, feeling like 76 though. We have some drier air moving in, so we're going to still see those blue skies tomorrow. But again, we're going to be much warmer as we head to the end of the weekend. So high pressure is going to start taking hold of our forecast. That's why we stay mostly clear, not too many showers in the forecast really over the next 5-6 days. So we're just going to stay clear as you wake up on Saturday morning for those early morning plans, probably heading to the lake to make some cooler temperatures, or at least make it feel a little cooler out there, especially across Fort Peck, where we're going to have a couple of clouds here and there. Again, no rain in the forecast though tomorrow afternoon, and by this time tomorrow, much warmer air is going to start funneling in, and that's going to shift in from the southwest. So if you're not heading to the lake, maybe you're going to bring out the grill tomorrow morning. Not too bad of a forecast. We're talking 60s, and then that big warm up comes right in the afternoon hours. So plenty of sunshine, 78 by noon, and then we're going to hit those mid to upper 80s for 5 p.m. Again, the warmest part of the day this time of year, and then 81 degrees by 8, which is quite a bit warmer than it is right now. So that gardening forecast, speaking of drier, warmer air, those gardens are going to need a lot of attention these next few days, especially as that dry air moves in. We're going to need a lot of water, especially on Sunday and Monday. Monday still is going to be looking like the hottest day of the next 7 days, and we're going to be in the 80s tomorrow, but we're going to jump well above average on Sunday. Water definitely needed then, and then we're talking some mid to upper 90s on Monday afternoon. So we've got a warm one for you, and we're not done with the drier and warmer air just yet. Even in our 6 to 10 day outlook, we're looking at drier than average conditions, very likely, especially for eastern and northwest Montana, and then very likely that we'll see warmer than average temperatures all across Montana for the next 6 to 10 days as well. So that's even reflected in our 7-day forecast, where again that warming trend starts tomorrow as we hit 88 in Great Falls, 73 on Sunday, and then jumping to those upper 90s by Monday afternoon. The only chance of rain we have in the 7-day forecast comes when a little disturbance moves through on Tuesday night, Wednesday morning. That's going to bring very isolated chance of storms and most noticeably a little drop in temperatures. So we'll be at 96 in Helena on Monday, dropping to 93 on Tuesday. A few clouds start to roll in as we have an isolated chance of a shower and storm, and then we'll be down into the 80s by next Thursday, and then dropping to the mid 80s, which is right about average, next Friday.
Coming up, learning the playbook in a pandemic. High school football players take the field.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Well, today was the first day of football practice in Montana, and MTN's Isaiah Dunk takes us to Great Falls Central.
It's the first day of high school football practice in Montana, and though things look and feel a little bit different because of COVID-19, here at Great Falls Central, they're just excited to be back on the field.
Very grateful. It's an opportunity not only to play football, but to grow with some of their teammates and some new people in the school. So I'm glad to be out here and have that opportunity. I'm completely new coaching staff, so it's pretty hard on some of the kids, especially the seniors, because we've had same coaching staff for 3 years, and now we have to adjust to new schemes and all that. But kids are pretty positive with everything.
That new coaching staff is anchored by Wes Ross, who was an assistant at Great Falls High last year. It's Ross's first head coaching gig, but despite the strange conditions, he considers himself fortunate.
You know, it's been a whirlwind, but I continue counting my blessings, how fortunate we are. Every day something else changes, and one thing I'm very proud of this team about is they've been very resilient, flexible, coachable. No matter what's asked of us, we step up.
That flexibility and coachability will be key in a year full of unknowns as the Mustangs try to make it back to the 8-man playoffs. So far, Central's schedule is on as originally planned. And though seeing news that all kinds of fall college sports are moving to the spring, it can be easy to be anxious about the season. But Coach Ross said for the Mustangs, when they're on the field, it's full steam ahead. In Great Falls, Isaiah Dunk, MTN Sports.
As of now, Central will open the season hosting Twin Bridges at Memorial Stadium on August 29th. And today, of course, was the first day the high school teams could practice, though with the cancellation of non-conference games by the MHSA, the Helena Capital Bruins are going to be taking things slow. The cancellation will give them a bit more time to prepare and scheme for their first game, which is now September 11th against Kalispell Glacier, something that Capital football head coach Kyle Mihelish said is a bit odd, but could be helpful down the road.
Today's usually a pretty high-stress day as far as, equipment checkout and making sure the kids have all the equipment, helmets have air, and we all have our practice jerseys, and we're all out here on time. We didn't have that. So, we do have a lot of time to prepare for our first game. I mean, starting on Monday, we have 3 weeks of regular practice, and then we're into a game week. So we could be upwards of about 22 practices before we play Glacier.
And don't go away. We'll be right back.
Warmer temperatures are on the way. We start that warming trend tomorrow after a very fall-like end to our work week. It's going to feel a lot more like summer for the weekend and beginning of next week as we jump back into the low 90s by Sunday and then upper 90s by Monday. There's definitely a good chance of some triple digits being hit in Montana on Monday afternoon as that very warm air starts to move in. Now for the middle of next week, we'll have a few isolated thunderstorms as a disturbance moves through. That's also going to kick temperatures back down to the mid 80s by next Friday.
And finally tonight, magician David Blaine wants to lift your spirits during the pandemic by attempting his first major live event in more than a decade. Blaine announced today that he will attempt to float over the Hudson River from New Jersey to New York City while holding on to a bunch of helium balloons. He's calling this special ascension. Blaine tweeted a promo photo Wednesday and wrote that the stunt has been 10 years in the making. It's set for August 31st and will air exclusively on his YouTube channel. All right, that's all the time we have for you tonight. Be sure to join the weekend crew tomorrow and have a great weekend. Good night.